Ooh, boy. All right. It's 2003 Honda Element. And you know what? I've never worked on a Honda Element before. I don't even look at vehicles by the exterior. It's just the engine transmission packages. But I don't even know like transmission codes that well, but just the engine, because usually I deal with drivability problems. And every situation is unique in its in but similar in its own context, if that make any sense. So you'll get a vehicle with the particular issue. All of it's going to go towards strategy anyway. So I never worked on the body of a Honda Element, but I've worked on plenty of Hondas. So I digress. So what's going on with this one? This is the auction vehicle, one of another auction vehicle. I'm taking up. They did not want this fixed. I don't even know how this video is going to pan out, but it has that loose wire from here, the light bulb, the main headlight going all the way to the back. So it goes through here between the door jamb to operate this light right here. So, that's dumb. This is, but that they did what they could with what they had. I don't talk negative about an individual because trust me, years ago I didn't do as great of repairs as I do now. But we live and learn and we evolve. Okay. Now, with that said, this is stupid. This shit's dumb. This is a fire hazard. I mean, I've never seen it happen. I've heard the stories of it happen. I think I had a friend I went to high school with that worked on cars that did some shit like this. And it wound up because he had a system and ran the wire through the door jamb and wound up catching fire, if I recall properly. 38, man, getting old. But this can short out. This is grounded, cause a fire, and ignite that freon. Causes vehicle to catch fire. This should be grounded. This is hot. I could take a test light and prove that. Let's see if it is grounded or not, but it should be. All right, got a test light here. I'm on 12 volts of the battery. Let's just find out if it is or not, because I don't know. I'm going to take it to the high pressure side. Scratch inside of that, nothing. Scratch inside of this, nothing. So technically, it's not grounded. It's safe, but running the door jamb isn't. I mean, and it can easily rub itself into the paint under right conditions, catch fire. Like I said, I haven't seen them happen. The wire's insulated, paint is insulation. Things can happen. Most of the time, never catch fire, never have anything, but the possibilities of it could be prevented. So with that said, that's why I say people do the best that they can with what they got. This is a fortunate situation where this isn't grounded. He's fine. Let's go back what we're dealing with. So I think I'm gonna take it upon myself to diagnose this wiring issue just out of boredom, brush up my skills. It be like that. A lot of stuff behind the scenes that I do I'll take it upon myself to familiarize myself, and that's taking initiative to evolve and continuously keep that brain working, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to record this one. But it seemed like a very simple system. Lights working. If I disconnect it from here, the light goes out, the side marker goes out. So this is going to likely be our leading supply because that jumper wire is here, which goes to the back, which now bridges and connects with the side marker. So this is going to be our leading power wire that they use to complete the missing 12 volt circuit. So just going through a process of elimination, we have 12 volts here. We don't have it back there. So logically, the place we need to be is in the back, checking for an inadequate voltage on our 12 volt feed. Could be dealing with a broken connector. Could be dealing with a blown fuse. Could be dealing with pin issue, pin fitment. Don't know. I didn't look back there. We're gonna look together, and we're gonna have fun with this because it might be something simple. Let me back this car in because this battery is shot, and I think the diagnostic tool of choice is just going to be a test light. This is like number one right here. Now probably, obviously, I'm going to take a multimeter too, but I think we'll just use a test light. So we're in the back, and as I look, here's the wire coming from the right front headlight going up through here. So that's the power source for that, and then it goes off to the side to this one also. So naturally, I'm going to suspect, well, the main thing, I need to pull wiring diagrams. That's the first thing I need to do, see how this system operates. And once I familiarize myself with this system, then I can go further, because I'd imagine the connector is probably going to be fine, but we're going to pull this light housing off, this light assembly, look like the 8mm, pull that off, pull that out, and then see how it was rigged up, and go from there. Use an 8mm to get this off. Let's see what we're dealing with. So they're tied in with the power wire. Where's the, okay, so it's teed in with the power wire. Let me show you what that looks like. So here's the wire. One of these are the wire feed, and then one of these is the other wire that go out to the driver's side. So let's pull this bulb out here. Let's see. I thought like there may have been a main connector that went inside of this, but that's obviously not the case. I'm not going to disconnect this junction they created. Instead, what I'll do once I pull wiring diagrams is just disconnect the front, since that's the leading power source coming to the back. Once I figure out where the power wire goes to, then we can make a determination from there what needs to happen. So just a better, closer look here, because like I was saying, most of this job is just reading and investigation, like familiarizing yourself with what you're dealing with. It's not executing. Execution is the like 1/3 of it, likely, because 2/3 of it, you're just trying to figure out, well, what am I dealing with, how this system operates, and just reading. And I think that's where a lot of us typically lag on. Okay, let me shut up and pull wiring diagrams. All right, so after 5 minutes of reading the wiring diagrams, from what I found out, our primary power source comes from the multiplex control unit. Hopefully it's a standalone relay and it's not an integrated relay within the multiplex. That's the body control module. It comes from there and gets distributed out from that unit to the front and to the rear. I wound up disconnecting the power source at the headlight, okay, being that tail light relay controls all the side markers from the front left, front right, rear left. That one power feed dispenses power to all those. I removed the power source at the headlight, plugged the unit back in, and the side markers don't work. The side marker isn't working. It's just reflecting the light because how I'm parked. Side marker isn't working. So that doesn't send any power out to the front side markers, which the common theme seems to be coming from either the multiplex is defective, the junction in which the wires are getting sent out from the multiplex, I'd imagine, is defective, or the relay is shot, or we just possibly have no power going to the relay So we need to go to the multiplex under the dash, check for powers. And if we don't have any power from the relay, why? Check the fuses. And if we do have power, well, why isn't it active? Okay. So I think, maybe if it doesn't have daytime running lights, let's flip the button up and see what happens. Because I might be chasing my ass for no reason. Yeah, it is on. And it's not working. Okay. So the switch is active and it's not working. Could be something wrong with the combination switch, depending on how the activating either ground or power source is distributed. Let's go and find that relay, check for powers and grounds, and go from there. All right, so I found number 13. This is going to be the tail light relay where I need to be at. So I'd rather come here versus checking the fuses outside. That will this will answer a lot more questions. Hopefully you can see that. I need to get this out. Let me grab something just as good. Did. So here's the relay. These are this is a regular mechanical relay. The thicker portions is where the power is going to get distributed from 12 volt out to load, and then you have one of these are going to be 12 volt and the activating ground to generate the magnetic field to bring these two contacts together. So if I plug this in, does it click? Headlights are on, it's not clicking. So naturally, I'm going to check for 12 volts on the activating side. I'm on ground. I should have a legitimate ground. Let's try it again. Yeah, let's check a fuse, just a random. Okay, this is better. So let's see. I should have 12 volts, and I don't. 12 volts, and I don't. So these don't even have 12. Let's see if I got. Well, I need to hook up to a 12 volt source to see if the activating wire is working for like a ground. I'm tied into a fuse. Just got a piercing pin tied into it. So now I'll just look for a control wire. And let's go back to the relay. Yep, so let's just, out of curiosity, I turned the switch off for the headlights. Now turn it on. So we have activation. We're just missing power. So I'm deciding I just want to naturally do that. Look for some sort of feedback from a ground. So the light bulb is already grounded. When we short out the light bulb, this is basically our power supply here. The light bulb gets shorted and illuminates, so we got continuity at our bulbs. This is the location where the power gets dispensed out to the bulbs on this top one here, because that's how we ground it out. The light bulb for my test light is absorbing the ground from the exterior lights. So we don't have 12 volts pretty much. So we likely just have a blown fuse. The fuse is supposed to be located under the hood. So this answers a lot of questions. We have activation, we just don't have power. Let's go find the power source and see if we just simply dealing with a blown fuse. We'll be on fuse location number 2 for the exterior lights. So I can get zoomed in here. I know it's an awkward angle. It's going to be located at the underhood fuse box. And I don't know if you can see that, but it says small light here. Small light. So we have the condenser fan, and then there's a missing fuse here where the exterior light's supposed to go. So let's pop a fuse in there and see if we restore continuity. I have a fuse here, so it's a 20 amp. It's not a 15 that's supposed to go in there. But let's install this. See if we have power on both portions. We do. Let's cut I got the relay out. Let me pop the relay in. Let's just add the relay and see if it activates. We should hear an audible click. Don't hear an audible click. Let's check for power. I'm grounded. Let's see if we have power restored. No. There's no power there. Something else is going on here. So there's no power here. Let's see if there's we should have had power. Let me see if the fuse is blown. So the fuse is still fine, we just don't have any power. Let me take another look at the wiring diagram, because logically power should have been restored here at the multiplex, and it's not. Well, the empty shadow that's 5, next is 6. That's going to be the power source from the fuse box under the hood. I'm going to plug into that, and I should have power. If not, let's add power and see if it changes anything on the relay. And I don't. Let's add power to this area and see if anything changes. Let's do this. What I could do is just take another test light and backfeed it with the power out through here. This will test the junction from here to here, ensuring that we have good flow through the multiplex. And yeah, so it has the capability of supporting voltage if it came through this particular area here. Unless I check the wrong fuse, which this is supposed to correspond with fuse 2. I'm going to just go ahead and check all of them. Then we probably have a broken wire between here at the fuse box output to this junction. So that's what that answers. Even though we have power going from one side of the fuse to the other, there's probably a broken wire between here and the fuse. So I should check the wiring diagram and see if there's a junction or something in common that I can look for. So there's nothing special with the wiring. It's just one wire we're dealing with, the white and green wire we see in the front there. So I need to, technically the only thing I need to do now, since we're getting extremely close, turn the fuse box upside down and see if there's output from that fusible link on that green and white wire. And if we do have it, then there's a broken wire between there and here. If not, then there's something internally wrong with that fuse box. Let's let me pull the fuse box, see if we can tip it upside down, see what we're dealing with. So what I'm gonna have to do, get the coordinates from the wiring diagram for this underhood fuse box and see where our green and white wire is gonna lie. But I just want to first just get it out and see what I'm dealing with, because it feels like it's very, very user-friendly and accessible at the moment. So I was on the right one. This is the connector here, is B2 on this 5-pin connector. And this is going to be 2 right here. Right there. So there should be 12 volts coming out this here and it's not, which indicates there's something wrong with this fuse box internally. Yeah, there's nothing coming out of there. Let me just be 100% certain, and because I don't think I got the key turned on. Let me turn the key on. There's nothing, just to be on the safe side. I mean, we had power coming out here with the key off. There should have been power with it on and off. So, all right, I'm just going to check all these fuses just to be on the safe side, make sure I'm not, you know, overlooking anything. So logically, the next thing to do, pull this out, inspect the connector, make sure there's nothing wrong with the connector. Yeah, nothing here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna send 12 volts through this wire, and I'm gonna send it through a test light, just like we did before, and we're gonna look to short the other test light and see if we have power going to the car, just to be on the safe side that we're on the proper terminal. So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go here, this one here will be I'm just going to make sure 12 volts is going through there. Yeah. So we should go back in the car and we should see 12 volts on that green and white wire. Yep, there it goes. So the issue lies within the fuse box. Now the only thing to do is disable the fuse box and see if we can find where it's broken at. So we isolate the problem. Now we know what we're doing. It's in the confinements of that fuse box. Let's see if it's serviceable. You won't believe this. I swear. So I followed this pin over. I can't believe I did something so stupid. I swear I checked all the fuses. I followed this pin over. This one here. This one here. Marked it right here. And I follow it over. I match it. Flip this and match it over. It goes to this location right here. I flip it over. And here's a blown fuse. This is a blown fuse. And I swear to you, this was missing. I thought it was this one. And I checked all my fuses. I went through it and I overlooked it. This was a stupid mistake, and I don't even have any words for it, but I did all that and it's a blown fuse. Yeah. So yeah, that's what happened. So let me get all this back together and let's kind of start from 70% because I can't believe I overlooked that. And I swear I checked all these fuses. I went to the corresponding position, You know, maybe I had the cover flipped over improperly, but I swear I had the right coordinates and I was wrong. This is blown. This is replaced also for some strange reason. Golly. So I got it apart. See if I put it back together right. Now, despite this happening, I can't believe I overlooked something so simple. I swear I checked this thing and nothing. I can't believe I did that, but this is real world scenario, and this is free. Even if the person paid for it, it still be like that. You're gonna make mistakes diagnosing things. But you know what? As long as the answer was discovered, now let's change the fuse like a pro. Let's see here. Let me see if I got power. So that's power there. How did I overlook? I swear maybe because it's clear I overlooked it, but I swear I checked this. I'm just gonna pop it back in there. I don't know how I screwed that up. I don't know how. Let me grab what size is this? It's 25 amp. I got a 20 amp. Pop that in there. And let's go back to our pin. We should have power, right? Yeah. I can't believe it, man. This was stupid. I make mistakes. I can't believe I made a mistake so simple. But you know, there's a reason why it blew. You know, it's a possibility that the car probably been in a collision and some things got damaged. So I don't know. We just discovered a symptom of a problem that has yet to be discovered. Let's turn this side. Let's turn the headlights on, see if it works. Well, I don't have the relay in there. Let's see if the relay clicks. It should. All right, let's see if we got some clicks. Yeah. Clicks now. Can you believe I done something so stupid? This was stupid. Look at that. Side markers are on now. Gosh, I can't believe it. Yep. Tail lights are on. That's working. And the wire's disconnected. There's the wire disconnected. Now I can take this out and everything will work like normal. Let me pull this wire out. So I almost forgot, before I pull this wire completely out, I'm gonna do a load test and see how much amp draw is on this circuit. I'd imagine it'll be a quarter of what it's able to support. So I got the lights on. I have my test meter here. Let's see here. So I have, hold on. Now I got it on. So we pull in 3.4 amps, 3.5 amps. So we're in a really good range. Not sure what happened, but I can tell you as of right now, this will not be a failing system due to some sort of short. So I'm gonna take that wire out and just let them know this was a freebie and everything works like factory. So they even have duct tape in there. I don't know where the duct tape is. It seems like I think they had the duct tape in there to hold it down. I don't know. Let's test the system real quick. I'm gonna go turn the light on. As a matter of fact, let's do this. Ah, shit, I was afraid of that. Got the wire repaired, and we're gonna pop everything back in there as normal. That will test this, make sure it works as it should. Hopefully they didn't cut this one in half. Just teed off into it, that would be great. What I could do, I'm just gonna cut the side of it because I don't feel like having to rewire this. I'm gonna leave it just like that. They got their money's worth regardless, right? Crap ton of wire. Wait a minute. Why that one ain't working? Did I put the bulb in there properly? One side's working, that side ain't. Yeah, I put the bulb in wrong. Let me make sure that connection is good at the bulb. Look at this. Fuse blew. So it was a symptom of an underlying cause. But what caused it to blow? I mean, now that we discovered what's going on, I mean, something's obviously shorting out. One big thing was I turned the I turned the headlight switch on, and then it blew. So that may be a clue to what's going on that's causing this issue. So the bulb isn't working anymore. I wound up putting a 10 amp fuse in there, and once I thumped the socket, is just, that was it. I mean, unless the bulb itself has failed, which it looks like the filament inside is shot. Let me replace it with a new bulb. So I wonder if this is probably the case. Okay, so now it's working. I wonder if, you know, the bulb probably shorted out internally and caused the issue, but you just don't see that often. I doubt the short will be so significant it will cause the fuse to blow. I mean, that's a lot of amps, 20 amps. I don't know. One thing I could do is probably put the oscilloscope to it and just probably do a couple of cycles with the stalk, the combination switch, I guess, the headlight switch, and see what happens. But for right now, the times that I've transitioned the switches, everything worked properly, and it hasn't shown any signs of blowing a fuse. So I didn't bring out the oscilloscope, but I did use the fluke here. I changed the battery finally because this thing was saying low battery for a while. So the scale I'm on the small scale. So for pretty much every 100 millivolts, it's going to be 1 amp. I have it set on a max scale, so it'll take a screenshot. Hopefully I'd imagine a 1 second event will be long enough for this fuse to build up heat, because that's pretty much all it is. It's a heat threshold meter thingy. It only can hold 20 amps. And once the heat start building up, it's gonna, because it's too much of a load, it'll burn out. Currently, the fuse that I got in here for this wire is going to be a 30 amp. That's just a jumper so I can tie in to measure the amp draw. So I'm measuring the amp draw to see if there's any abnormal load that will cause these lights to fail to work. And I'm just going to demonstrate what this looks like. So we're on millivolts, and I'm going to press the minimum maximum button. I'm on max here, so what it will do is just take a screenshot when it maxes out. I'm gonna turn the headlights on and off, the park lights on and off, and see what value we retrieve from it. Off, on, off, on. So at the most, I mean, that's 4.26 amps. Before, just cruising along while the lights were on, they were holding steady at 3.5 amps. When you would turn the stalk back and then on, it has to build, then stabilize, and that's what we're seeing. We're just seeing that rapid increase of a load, and then it'll eventually stabilize. So when it stabilizes, I imagine it'll probably hold around 3.5 amps. So we can measure that. The lights are on. I'm gonna take the mid-max off by just going back and resetting it to millivolts, and it's stabilizing at 3.87 amps. Now before it was around 3.5 with the old bulb in there. Now it's holding around 3.8, about 4 amps. So I wonder, I find it hard to believe a bulb is going to cause that to blow out. I mean, I did look around the vehicle, make sure there was no accident, or make sure there was no wires that could potentially be rubbing anywhere. I did wiggle the wires, and nothing changed. Nothing changed at all. What if, being that I cut the wire, I don't think that right there was shorting out, because, this had to have been persistent before. At the moment, I've turned that switch on and off probably about 40 or 50 times, and at the most it generated 4.2 amps. That's the most it produced. I can't imagine there being an issue. I'm going to turn it off and on another 20, 30 times, try cycling key, try to establish a pattern to see if it'll blow in my presence. But at the moment, this is a slow enough, like a 1 second per division time base on this fluke here, to where the heat will build up enough to short out this fuse. And I haven't captured that yet. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes of trying and see what I can come up with. So after a while of turning the lights on and off, I've opened and closed the trunk with the park lights on. Nothing changed. It all stayed the same. And this is the maximum amp draw, 4.09 amps. So I think this is going to be a legitimate fix. But at the same time, what I could do is put a regular fuse in there and see if that make any difference, because this is not a fusible link, and I got to have a 30 amp in there. So let me put but I had a 20 amp in there before. So the only other thing I figure, I'm like, well, let me pull the relay out and pull it apart, see what it looked like. It was a little warm inside of it. And so maybe something internally can be shorting out, causing some problems. And for the most part, it looks fine. So what I'm going to do, swap the relay with the neighboring one and see what happens. So I already got it. Obviously, I got it out, so I got it swapped. Let me measure the amps and see if anything changes. With the other relay in there, it's making 3.8 amps, and this is not doing anything out of the ordinary. So I put the regular fuse in there, a 20 amp, and it's working fine. Measuring the amp draw, working fine. Kind of at a loss as far as why this issue happened, but the only thing I did was replace the bulb. The bulb failed, and it was intermittently in and out. I don't know if it had anything to do with all this issue, but I swear it would need more of a load to fail. Don't know, but it wasn't constantly failing when in my case. So I'm not sure if one of the other bulbs are screwed up or not, but at the moment, everything's fine. If I tap on each side of the fender, the park lights and stuff, everything's working. You know, it's not changing the value. Let's see here. Everything's working fine. I think, call me crazy. Am I justified in just claiming that the bulb in the back that I had to strangely replace was the causation of these issues? On the high beam side, I mean, the high beam can, but the high beam don't pull. I'm sorry, not the, it's the brake lamp side. The brake lamp can support about, I want to say about 2 amps. But if it's shorted out, I mean, that could cause some problems. But based off the construction of the bulb, I don't see how that could happen either. I don't know. How would you have handled this if it was free? Would you have done this just for the sake of wisdom? I mean, I do have to tell the customer that I did this. I mean, I'm not going to be like, hey, I took that wire out, and I'm not going to not tell them. So I do have to tell them what I did. I'm pretty sure they'll be appreciative. It's not like they have to pay anything. I did test the circuit. There's no abnormal drain on it. It hasn't failed since. I mean, the one fuse blew. Strangely, the bulb blew around that same time. You know, I'm a little lost in the moment. I know it sounds crazy to kind of conclude a video being a little stumped, but I learned a lesson. I should have been a little bit more observant. That's the lesson I'm taking away from today. And this was expected. Like, I mean, this wasn't a complaint. I took this upon myself to do something just for the sake of it. But if anything happened, if it do fail, I'm definitely going to update this video and definitely make an actual video if it has to come back. Like I said, I'm going to be transparent with the customer, let them know what I did, and I'm going to claim it was for safety reasons. I mean, what better means of infringement besides safety? But if anything happened, I'll update. Hit the link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, have a rich work. See you on the next one.